I love the energy, the enthusiasm. Hollywood!
This is Utah Tech football and the Lance Anderson Coaches Show.
A lot of good work. I'm really proud of you guys. And hi there once again, everybody. Welcome to the Lance Anderson Coaches Show. Rod Zundel here, along with the head coach of the Trailblazers, Lance Anderson. Trailblazers getting ready to get back out on the road at Central Arkansas on Saturday in Conway, Arkansas. They'll kick it off at 3 o'clock Utah time. And Coach, coming off I'd say disappointment on Saturday, a loss at Austin Peay in your opening game of the UAC schedule. Just talk about what you saw, and this is the first game that you didn't have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, first week that we really weren't competitive in this game, especially in the second half. Game got away from us. Big thing is we just need to execute better. We got to play with better effort, but I think you've also got to give credit to Austin Peay. They are a very good football team, and just did not match up well in terms of their speed, their athleticism, their physicality, but I think we're capable of playing better.
You knew that they were one of the quickest and fastest teams that you would face all year long. Did you try to do anything differently to offset their speed?
You know, we thought we had some good things in scheme-wise, both offensively and defensively, that would match well, but we knew it would be a challenge. And I think, early on through late in the first quarter, we're right in that game. And I think as soon as things started to go bad, I think we started to panic a little bit. We tried to press a little bit more than we needed to, maybe more so than we'd done at other times this year. And that led to some mental mistakes as well. So.
And Coach, when you go back and look and watching this game, your players were in position, but it seemed like they were just a fraction of a beat behind.
Yeah, especially you look at the defensive side and the number of times we were in position, but we just missed tackles. Yeah. By far, this was the week that we missed more tackles than any other week. So we got to finish those plays offensively. Just need to strain a little more on some of those blocks. Spring some longer runs. We have to get the ball down the field in the pass game. We had a couple opportunities and we didn't convert on those.
And when you look ahead to Central Arkansas, you're going to get a kind of feel for where your team's at mentally, because trying to bounce back after not being in the game like they had the previous month.
Exactly. I mean, this is, again, a team that we should be able to compete with, and we just need to play our game. We need to play with great effort and execute. But this, again, it'll be a challenge going on the road against a good football team.
Your offense had a few good drives but couldn't finish it off. You only had 237 yards of total offense. Couldn't stay on the field, 5 for 15 in third down. Obviously, those are numbers you like to obviously move up.
Certainly. We did have a few good chunk plays. Had the big play to Eric Olson. Yeah. Had some times, especially in the second half, where we did sustain some drives, but just didn't finish those drives with points, and that's what we need more of.
All right, let's take a look at some of the offensive highlights, and you just mentioned it right off the bat in the first half, to a little misdirection to Eric.
Yeah, this was a big play. I think like a 35-yard explosive play here. Got down inside their 40-yard line, but then just couldn't convert.
Yeah, and then Dejon Harrison, nice tiptoe on the sideline there for a first down.
Yes, Dejon has definitely helped us in the pass game, and we'll need some big plays from him going forward.
And then Reggie tried to find Eric Olson again. You tried to move Reggie out of the pocket a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah, Reggie's been good on the bootlegs, the sprints. He's been really good throwing on the run.
And then that would lead on this drive to finish it off with Ilya Uvedov, the field goal for your first points of the game. And so you were thinking about, okay, we're getting in a groove now, we've got it. And then Asa Chapman, he's proven that he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's been good when we've got the ball in his hands, whether it's handing it to him or throwing it to him out there on the perimeter.
And that was another drive that you had it going, then stalled. Then you got another drive here in the fourth quarter to egg it.
Yeah, I mean, Caden is another guy that's been productive for us and had some big catches.
Then you brought in Kona Crowell, and he had a couple of nice runs right there, and then finished it off with his second career touchdown.
Yeah, had a couple good downhill explosive runs for us, and was able to finish it with the touchdown.
Okay, so the previous game against Northern Iowa, you had over 200 yards rushing. You wanted a more balanced attack. You had just under 100 yards rushing on Saturday. So what is it that you need to get accomplished this week in practice to prepare for a more balanced attack in Conway, Arkansas this week?
We need physical practices with great effort, and then we need to see high execution that just gets better and better as the week goes on. We need to make those practices just like the game. That way it'll carry over directly to Saturday.
On defense in the previous week against Northern Iowa, 47 yards rushing, gave up, over 200 yards against these guys. Their quarterback was quick, going laterally. He's a bit like a running back. And then they had a couple of running backs that got some big chunks on you.
Yeah, I mean, the missed tackles contributed to it, but then I think as the game went on, then guys trying to do a little bit too much. We had some guys out of gaps or maybe not being disciplined enough to account for that quarterback, and we gave up a few chunk plays.
So you say that guys were pressing, trying to do too much. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you like them having that mentality, or does that get them out of position too much?
I love the mentality of just playing hard, wanting to make plays, but we got to get to that point where we trust the system, trust the defense. Hey, you do your job, rely on the other 10 guys to do theirs, just do your 1/11th, and we'll have a chance to be successful as a team.
As we take a look at the highlights, you were able to get pressure at times. You got one more sack, total of 14. But as you check the highlights here, you got a pressure on the quarterback, almost got a turnover there. Cody Carlson had it right in his hands and kind of got it bumped out from him.
That could have been a really big play. Again, it was a big play there because I think that was our third straight stop in the first quarter, which is great. And a takeaway there would have been tremendous.
This is one of the good efforts. Dalen Love, the TFL there.
Yeah, we had a few opportunities like that and just didn't convert, but Dalen did there. Dalen's another young player who's very athletic and playing well for us.
And with their speed, you knew you need to tackle in open space. Devin Perkins did it perfectly there.
Yeah, Devin Perkins is a very physical player, good tackler.
So you got one more here with pressure. Will Alaveo forces the quarterback right in the hands of Helaman Ofengawi for the sack. That's your 14th sack of the year. That's tied for 6th in the country.
Yeah, we've done a good job, putting pressure on the quarterbacks. I mean, we just got to do a better job against the run so we can get teams more in those situations where they have to throw, and we'll have a chance to rush the passer.
And Jay Sweeten there came in the fourth quarter and put up some pretty good effort there on the tackle for loss.
Yeah, had a couple of really nice tackles in the fourth quarter.
Okay, so your defense felt great about it against Northern Iowa. A little bit of a letdown against Austin Peay. So what do you want to accomplish with your defense this week?
Number one thing we're working on are some tackling drills where we got to be great with tackling. We got to be better with our leverage, and then just more disciplined in terms of doing our job.
Okay. What was the mood like afterwards? Because like we mentioned before, you had a chance to win each game in the fourth quarter. The previous games, and then you didn't have a chance there. What was the mentality in the locker room afterwards?
I think there was definitely disappointment. There were some long faces. I mean, obviously we had very high expectations because we had been very competitive, and we're really striving to take that next step and be able to win consistently. And we definitely took a step backwards on Saturday. But I think our guys will really bounce back this week. I think we'll have a great week, and excited to get back on the field on Saturday.
All right, we're going to take our first time out. When we come back, a couple of big guys in the trenches will join us. That's when the Lance Anderson Coaches Show comes back.
If you haven't seen Utah Tech University lately, chances are you haven't seen it at all. With hands-on polytechnic learning across 300 academic programs, 30 new and renovated state-of-the-art facilities, the most affordable university tuition in the state, and 300 days of sunshine. Why look anywhere else? Discover why Utah Tech was recently named one of Education Magazine's 10 prominent universities and colleges to watch. Join us and experience the active learning, active life difference at Utah Tech.
Back here on the Lance Anderson Coaches Show, joined now by a couple of Trailblazers. Defensive lineman Cody Carlson from Lake Oswego, Oregon. Offensive lineman Nolan Reynolds from Riverside, California. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in. So, Cody, we'll start with you. Great performance against Northern Iowa. Tough performance against Austin Peay. Just talk about the mentality of your guys on the defensive side.
Man, on the defensive side, we're just kind of focused on playing our game coming up this next week. We had great meetings today to talk about it and be able to move past it and go forward.
Nolan, what about the offensive side? You had a great rushing game against Northern Iowa. Tried to come back with more balance. Didn't quite get what you wanted on Saturday. Talk about mentality with you guys on the offensive side.
I think mentality is we know what we're capable of. We showed that against Northern Iowa, and Austin Peay we didn't. So it's just getting back to that high energy strain, finishing blocks to spring our backs.
Coach, talk about these two guys. They're kind of the anchors on both sides of the football, and they're team leaders.
Yeah, to me, I mean, it really starts up front for us on both sides of the ball. You know, starting with Cody, one of the things we really wanted to do this year is get better against the run, and that starts up front with the defensive line, and we've definitely made progress there. We're much more stout, much more physical, and Cody's been a big part of that. I believe in running the ball on offense. That's what it starts with, and that's why Nolan is a big part of that. And Nolan's our most veteran guy. Maybe he and Bryce probably together, but a real leader, a guy that other guys look up to, and we've made great progress on the offensive line this year. You just look at how sound our protection has been for the most part, and just our ability to run the ball, which has been much better than last year. You see the improvement we've made in those areas.
And Nolan, as we look at this group of linemen that you have, you've given up 4 sacks through 5 games. That's tied for top 10 in the country.
Yeah, I mean, we take it pride, keeping our quarterbacks healthy, and just, like Reggie's back there, Bronson's back there, whoever's back there, even Skyler for a play, just keeping those guys clean and not wanting them to get hurt.
Just talk about the leadership role, because there's the group right there. You've got 3 freshmen playing on the line at the same time.
We do, and luckily some of them were here in the spring, so they were able to get experience. But even Cade, I think, stepping up and starting in his role.
How is it on that line? Do they talk to you? Do they say, "Hey, what about this?"
Oh, definitely. I think we have really good communication across the board, whether it's during meetings or even during games. Just everybody's not afraid to ask questions.
And Cody, we showed the highlights earlier. We're going to see it again. Your near interception. Just talk about that moment and take us through what happened.
We're going to do a lot more tip drill practice this week, just making sure we're jumping up and high pointing the ball, work with the DBs and Coach Cross, the DB coach, just getting up more.
You thought you had it. When it was in the air, you thought it was coming right down your hands?
100%. Thought there was no one around. I was just going to let it fall into my lap and take off running.
You had a big fumble recovery against Northern Iowa and got it started. And you also had a big fumble recovery last year against Central Arkansas when you upset them as the number 9 team in the country and almost had a touchdown.
Yeah, eyes get a little wide, get excited. Just got to keep my feet next time, working city country balls as well.
And when you talk about tip drills, do linemen practice those tip drills like linebackers and DBs?
Oh yeah, we practice all the time during fundamental rotation, whether Coach Cross is running that drill or even during certain special teams periods. We'll be over there with Coach Ben working on getting hands up and then being able to catch it afterwards.
Your teammates give you a little grief this
all
week?
the time. For last year, the fumble recovery, this year's fumble recovery, the pick, all of it. If a lineman gets his hands on the balls, he's got to make the play or he's going to get it.
And Coach, when you look at you didn't get a takeaway last week, and that's one thing that this defense really needs to do. They've done pretty well in the previous month.
Oh, exactly. I mean, turnovers, takeaways, that often tells the story of the game. So offensively, we want to protect the ball. Defense, yes, that's been one of our points of emphasis too the last few weeks, is creating more takeaways.
All right. Nolan, let's get to know you a little bit better. Tell us about you growing up, where, family, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, redshirt senior from Riverside, California. You said that. Born and raised, never didn't really move much. My sister, grew up with a sister I have 4 years older than me. She just got her master's from UConn, and she moved to North San Diego. Dad works in radio. Mom works for.
Wait a second, your dad works in radio?
Yeah.
Doing what?
He used to be like a morning show producer, and then he worked in promotions, and now he works behind the scenes in engineering.
Oh, that's awesome. So what made you choose Utah Tech?
Number one, coaching staff. When I got here, they were really good experience, and number 2, just the location. And when I got here, it was the second year of Division I, so it kind of felt like we were really growing something, and I wanted to be on the ground floor.
Yeah. Cody?
Cody Carlson from Lake Oswego, Oregon, senior. Just was really excited for kind of the experience to come here and be able to do something coming from a JUCO.
Yeah, so talk about JUCO. Where was that, and what did you learn there to help you here at Utah Tech?
Man, so I was in Chico, California at Butte College. Great program. We've had some good guys come through there, but I think the biggest thing I learned from there is just work, just being able to, put the time in, show that you really care about something and make yourself better.
Yeah. And Coach, your second season here at Utah Tech, what do these two guys and guys like these mean to you, trying to build on the good stuff that you have here and bring on other people that will complement them?
They've both been really good examples to the other offensive linemen, defensive linemen, of how we need to go about our business, how hard we need to work, how we need to strain, learn to finish, and they've both really worked to get better and better, and that's why I think we are definitely better on both sides of the line of scrimmage this year. Yeah. And these guys have had a lot to do with that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll look ahead to Saturday's matchup with Central Arkansas and their unique field that you're going to be playing on. That's when the Lance Anderson Coaches Show comes back.
If you haven't seen Utah Tech University lately, chances are you haven't seen it at all. With hands-on polytechnic learning across 300 academic programs, 30 new and renovated state-of-the-art facilities, the most affordable university tuition in the state, and 300 days of sunshine, why look anywhere else? Discover why Utah Tech was recently named one of Education Magazine's 10 prominent universities and colleges to watch. Join us and experience the active learning, active life difference at Utah Tech.
Welcome back to the Lance Anderson Coaches Show. Trailblazers getting ready to hit back out on the road Saturday afternoon in Conway, Arkansas against Central Arkansas, the Bears. Conway is about 30 miles from Little Rock, Arkansas. And right now, Central Arkansas, 1-4. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 0-1 in conference play. They lost to Tarleton a couple weeks ago. So they're trying to find themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they lost some really good players from last year's team. They're trying to replace those guys. I still think they've got some good players. They've played some really good teams. They've been competitive in a lot of those games. I think they're in a very similar place to where we are right now.
They're coming off a loss at 22nd ranked Lamar last week, 35-32. You guys played against Central Arkansas when they came into town last year as the 9th ranked team, and you got the win over that. So you know they want a little payback, right, Cody?
Oh yeah, we know they're coming out ready with a punch. Just got to be able to respond when it happens.
Nolan?
Yeah, I think they're trying to get their revenge, but I think guys have confidence and know they're a beatable team, and just building it up in practice.
Okay, take a look at some of the highlights from their game at Lamar. And one thing you notice, Coach, is they love just to throw the ball up and let their talented receivers run under it.
Yeah, they're really good at running the football, and then they'll throw a lot of RPOs, and then they'll take shots down the field.
They just throw it up, and they've got some talented receivers, over 100 yards receiving last week, and they also had a running back that had 136 yards rushing. Their quarterback threw for 358 yards. You can tell what their favorite pass play is.
Yeah, I think they had their most productive game last week offensively in terms of points and yards. They made a quarterback change last week. So I think offensively they're definitely going into this game with some confidence.
And so, Cody, when you watch their offense, what do you see?
Just got to be really focused on the run this week. Everything interior-wise looks like run, so we got to stop that up front and then be able to just kind of let our DBs play in the back end.
Yeah, they did give a couple of big pass plays up for touchdowns, so that's one thing you need to, like you said, you need to stretch the field, get down the field on those passes.
Exactly. They've got some really talented corners that they try to lock you up outside. They got a big nose guard. So we got to find some ways to get some chunk plays down the field, as well as establishing the run against them.
And Nolan, when you look at their defense against Lamar, 22nd ranked in the country, didn't have the quarterback throw over 200 yards. They didn't allow a 100-yard rusher. They only had under 150 total yards rushing. So their defense allowed. So what is it when you look at Central Arkansas that you guys need to do as an offensive unit?
I think a big emphasis for us this week is combos and finishing blocks, just pushing the first level back to the second level to open up the run game, and that'll help the pass game open up as well.
And you got a glimpse of what that feels like in the second half against Northern Iowa and also against Northern Arizona.
Yeah, so just a big emphasis for us, tiring them out, wearing them out, so by the time we get to that late third, early fourth quarter, they're
all right. Good. So you're going to play on a unique field, probably the most unique field you'll ever play on in your life. It's a purple and gray striped field. Okay, when you look at that,
vertigo.
What comes to your mind, guys?
Just being focused, trying to, not look down at it too much. Yeah. Just kind of look at, your keys.
Yeah, I mean, I had a coach who used to say, as the field's 120 by 53 in the third, right? So just kind of play wherever we're playing, Walmart parking lot, or purple and gray stripes. It's
Coach, you're on a coaching staff up at Boise State a couple of years ago with the Smurf turf up there.
with the blue turf there.
That's weird, but this is a little bit
very
different.
Unique, very different. But like Nolan said, I mean, the dimensions are the same. It doesn't change us. Hey, going out, doing our job, playing our technique, using our fundamentals.
All right, Nolan, final thoughts from you on what you guys need to do better this week.
finishing blocks in the run game and keeping our quarterbacks clean.
Cody, defensive side.
Just being dominant up front, doing your 111th, and just playing our game.
Coach, are they saying the right things?
That's exactly the stuff we got to do this week. So that's what we're going to be working on in practice, and looking forward to going out and executing that on Saturday.
All right, so pregame 2 o'clock on Saturday on Trailblazer Sports Vision and also on the Fan Sports Radio Network. 3 o'clock kick. Conway, Arkansas, Central Arkansas, and Utah Tech both looking for their first UAC conference win. Nolan Reynolds, Cody Carlson, thank you. Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Let's head to Arkansas.
Thank you,
Come
sir.
back with our first conference win.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you Saturday from Arkansas.